Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Rishika Barwa. Poll strategist Prashant Kishor is expected to meet Congress President Sonia Gandhi in a day or two to take a final call on his entry into the Congress, for which he has made a detailed presentation on the revival of the Congress party. Nidhi Razdan has the details.
He is expected to meet Sonia Gandhi perhaps tomorrow or in the next day or two after that, where a final call will be taken on his induction into the Congress. But more importantly, from the Congress's point of view, he's drawn up a presentation on how he feels the party can revive. He presented that to Congress leaders last week, but we have accessed a draft that actually he had presented some months ago, many months ago. And among the important things that he has suggested, if you can see right there, is that the working president of the Congress party should be a non-Gandhi. It's very interesting how he's made a distinction between the UPA chairperson, the president of the All India Congress, and the working president of the party. So he says Sonia Gandhi should stay on as president of the All India Congress, but the working president or the vice president should be a non-Gandhi, and that there is no alternative to this. Very interesting, because currently, we see that the Congress is facing a huge leadership crisis, and he has also said that the leader of the parliamentary board or the parliamentary party should actually be Rahul Gandhi himself. In this draft presentation, he's also gone to talk about all the big problems the party has, from being disconnected from its grassroots, from having an aged and a jaded leadership. Those are the words that he has used, and said, therefore, a new Congress needs to be created for the masses that also protects its core values, but it needs to destroy the sense of entitlement and sycophancy in the party. It also needs to fix the issues and confusion that it has with alliances, so get moving on that, and also create an army of grassroots leaders.
A day after bulldozers were sent into Delhi's Jahangirpuri, where communal violence had erupted on Saturday, the Supreme Court has taken a serious view of demolitions that took place despite orders to pause them. The court said that there will be no demolitions in Jahangirpuri until further orders. It has issued a notice as well to the civic body. It has also issued a notice to the centre on a plea against demolitions across India's riot-affected areas. Here's the full story.
Small-time vendors whose pushcarts, roadside shops were destroyed by the BJP-led Delhi municipality on Wednesday appealed to the Supreme Court today to stop further such demolition and seek compensation. In a big but temporary relief, the top court today ordered that no demolitions will take place in Jahangirpuri for 2 weeks. The court wants the North Delhi municipality to respond. Its mayor had at 11 a.m. acknowledged the Supreme Court's stay on the demolitions, but these continued for over an hour more.
नहीं, मेरे पास अभी मैसेज नहीं है एक्चुअली कि मैं फ़ोन उठा नहीं पा रहा. अभी मैं डिस्कस करके जैसे भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो भी आदेश होगा उस पर पालन किया जाए. सुप्रीम कोर्ट सुप्रीम है, और बिल्कुल हमें विश्वास है सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो कहेगी उसका पूरा हम पालन करेंगे. अभी मैं अपनी अधिकारियों से बात करता हूँ, उनको हो सकता है कम्युनिकेशन आया.
A two-judge bench of Justice L.N. Rao and B.R. Gawai today said, "We will take a serious view of all demolitions that took place after the Supreme Court decision was communicated to the MCD mayor. If demolition yesterday was only restricted to chairs, boxes, benches, etc., then why were bulldozers needed? Does the law state that prior notices are to be served for such demolitions?" The centre responded to these questions by saying that notices were served for properties where it was required by law. No notices were needed for removal of building materials, chairs, benches, etc.
In this matter also, a part of a mosque was demolished. Then in that process, certainly there are certain tables and chairs that will be taken away. So making that chair and table case is not proper. About 20 odd shops and 25 odd houses along with certain part of the mosque has been demolished. And this could have been saved if the authorities would have acted upon, immediately after knowing the fact that the Supreme Court has passed orders.
When Advocate Dushyant Dave, appearing for the petitioners, read out Delhi BJP President Adesh Gupta's letter to the NDMC Commissioner seeking demolitions, the court asked that was his wish, to which Dave responded that the wish was treated as a command by the NDMC, who then implemented it.
It's not just the bulldozers in Delhi but also those in Madhya Pradesh's Khargone that came up in the hearing. The centre today refuted any communal angle in the demolitions, when Advocate Kapil Sibal, who is representing the petitioners, said that encroachments are not limited to one community, but here they are being connected to one community alone. Centre said in MP's Khargone, 88 affected parties were Hindus and only 26 were Muslims. And this was the fifth encroachment drive in Jahangirpuri this year. The court was hearing 3 petitions, one by Jahangirpuri residents, another by CPM leader Brinda Karat, and an All India one by the Jamiat Ulama-e-Hind against demolitions across India in riot-affected areas. Arguing for the petitioners, lawyers Kapil Sibbal and Dushyant Dave said, Muslims are being targeted. There is a pattern of demolitions across India. If demolitions are not stopped, there will be no rule of law and no democracy left. No such demolitions took place after the 1984 riots or the 2002 riots. There are 1,731 unauthorized colonies with 50 lakh people in Delhi, but only one community is being targeted. Significantly, the Supreme Court refused to stay similar demolitions in other states, saying such an all-India order cannot be passed. When the petitioner requested that at least those with bulldozers should be stopped, the court said that demolitions are done with a bulldozer only.
The Supreme Court has given the centre and NDMC 2 weeks' time to respond on the petitions. It will then also examine whether there was non-compliance of its order yesterday to stop the demolitions in Jahangirpuri. In New Delhi with camera person Prem Singh, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
Meanwhile, the Delhi BJP chief Adesh Gupta has once again written, this time to the South and East MCD mayors, directing them to take the strictest possible action with a bulldozer against encroachments by Bangladeshis, Rohingyas and anti-social elements residing in areas under their jurisdiction. Remember, it was at the call of Adesh Gupta that the North Delhi mayor also decided to use that bulldozer in Jahangirpuri. He issued such a letter, and the next morning there was action taken in Jahangirpuri. Another such letter has now been written by the Delhi BJP chief. India has reported over 2,000 coronavirus cases. To be precise, India has reported 2,380 cases. This is up about 15% as compared to the previous 24 hours. Deaths are also up 40%, with India reporting 56 deaths. The positivity rate is also up. It's crossed the 0.5% mark. Tests are also up around 6%, with close to 5.5 lakh people being tested in this time period. Delhi continues to report the highest number of daily COVID cases. Let's take a look at the state-wise breakup. So Delhi has reported 965 new COVID-19 cases. Kerala has reported 355 cases. Haryana 310. Uttar Pradesh 168 and Maharashtra 179. Now, in the light of the rising COVID-19 cases, the Delhi government has now decided that there will be free booster doses given in the national capital. The Delhi government has announced free boosters for the 18 to 59 category. So these free precautionary doses will be given across government centres in the national capital. Now, Congress MLA Jignesh Mevani, remember, has been arrested. He was produced in a court in Assam today. He was arrested for allegedly putting out tweets against Prime Minister Modi. While he was taken to court today, he was seen yelling at the media, saying this is all a political vendetta against him. He has been remanded to 3 days custody.
You all know the story of Republic editor. Against him, so many cases has been registered in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, because he said something against Sonia Gandhi. So this is a common legal practice, and Assam is not doing anything separate, which is not being done in Congress rule state. What is happening in Congress rule state, same is happening in Assam. So we are taking action, if at all some action has been taken within the parameter of law.
Moving on, Prime Minister Modi addressed the nation from the Red Fort today to mark the 400th birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Prime Minister Modi is the first Prime Minister to actually deliver a speech at the Mughal-era monument after sunset. The fort was chosen as the venue for the event as it was here that the Mughal ruler Aurangzeb had in fact given orders for the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Prime Minister Modi also released a commemorative coin and a postage stamp for the occasion. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson began his two-day visit to India with a visit to the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad and also later visited a bulldozer factory in Baroda. Now, Boris Johnson is scheduled to hold an all-important bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi tomorrow. Here's the full report.
Prime Minister of the United Kingdom on a bulldozer at a time when they are in the news in India for very different reasons. It was a visit to the British company JCB's new plant in Halol in Gujarat, where he was asked if the UK was embarrassed about the firm's bulldozer's involvement in the demolitions in Delhi. Johnson's official spokesperson told the British daily The Independent, "It's a matter for the Indian authorities on how any equipment is used. Mr. Johnson chose to go to the JCB factory because it is a very good illustration of a UK business working with India." Earlier, he visited the Sabarmati ashram and paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi, who led India's freedom struggle against British rule. He was gifted 2 books, including the unpublished Guide to London written by the Mahatma himself. He told NDTV it was a humbling experience.
So how was your visit to the Sabarmati ashram?
Extraordinary, and very moving and humbling to go and see the ashram of Mahatma Gandhi and to have an idea of the kind of life that he lived and what an extraordinary man he was and the values and the principles that he stood for. Truth and non-violence, I think fantastic.
The UK PM meets Prime Minister Modi tomorrow, where he said he's going to bring up India's stand on Russia.
As I think everybody understands, India and Russia have a historically very different relationship, perhaps than Russia and the UK have had over the last couple of decades. We have to reflect that reality, but clearly I'll be talking about it to Narendra Modi.
Johnson also met industrialist Gautam Adani at the Adani headquarters over lunch. They discussed support for climate and sustainability agenda with a focus on renewables and cooperation with UK companies on defence and aerospace technologies.
I think the Australian Foreign Minister to join online. As it happens, these things always are a bit iffy till the last minute, so please bear with us. But I think these names should be all confirmed. They will also have, as I said, official engagements.
The main aim of Boris Johnson's visit to India is to strengthen bilateral ties in defence, security and trade. And while Ukraine will come up in the discussions, Boris Johnson wants to cement a free trade deal with India, which Britain hopes to conclude by 2022. In Gandhinagar, with camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, on to the big story we're tracking from Russia. Now, Russia has launched a nuclear-capable ballistic missile amid its war with Ukraine. President Putin has said that this is a missile that has no equivalence anywhere in the world and is going to make those who want to threaten Russia think twice. This on a day when Russia now claims that it has control over Mariupol. First, let's listen in to what President Putin had to say.
Putin praises Russia's new nuclear missile, Sarmat. Putin says that this is a significant event for Russia's defense industry and that those who threaten Russia must think twice.
Аналогов ему в мире нет и еще долго не будет. Это действительно уникальное оружие, будет укреплять боевой потенциал наших вооруженных сил. Надежно обеспечит безопасность России от внешних угроз и заставит задуматься тех, кто в полуоголтелой агрессивной риторике пытается угрожать нашей стране.
Meanwhile, the significant development that we're reporting now is that President Putin has now claimed that Russia has quote-unquote liberated Mariupol. This after Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has in fact told him that Moscow now controls the Ukrainian port city apart from the giant Azovstal steel plant. Now, this is a significant strategic win for Russia as it enables Moscow to complete a southern corridor to the Crimean Peninsula, which it annexed in 2014, depriving Ukraine now of much of its coastline. Vishnu Shom sent us this report from Ground Zero.
Well, the big news today as far as Ukraine is concerned is the Russian declaration that they now control the port city of Mariupol. This is in the south of Ukraine. It was a development very widely expected to take place. There was a rearguard action which has been taking place by Ukrainian defenders for the last several days. But the question remains this. With Russia having captured Mariupol, a city large parts of which they were effectively controlling now for some time, what is their real objective as far as that city is concerned? Are they going to rebuild that city? It's a city which is going to take billions of dollars to rebuild and perhaps a generation to be part of that process of rebuilding it. Is it Russia's intention to do that? How are they actually going to afford that? The Russian economy is in a mess with these sanctions, but those are larger questions. A lot of people would actually be wanting to know at this stage whether the Russian declaration of victory over Mariupol is a prelude to tensions actually coming down. Is that all that Vladimir Putin seeks to achieve? Again, no clear signal of that. And for the moment, the fighting actually continues in the south and the east of this country. Russian forces continue to push west. Ukrainian forces continue to push them in the opposite direction. There is no mood over here in Ukraine. Not a single person would even remotely suggest that they should bring tensions down themselves. They are very clear that they will continue to fight the Russians. This is an invasion on their turf. And the mood of the nation is that they will continue to fight, particularly after the Russian forces were routed in the north of Kiev. But how long this actually goes on, what are the various options available? Is this going to be a victory that Putin declares and end it at that? Are the Russians going to continue to push westwards? Is that a possibility? We'll have to wait and see. Finally, is this going to be a no-win, no loss for both sides as this battle grounds down to a lower level of intensity in the months ahead? Because you cannot be fighting at this level of intensity for an indefinite period of time. These are a couple of options. We don't know what the answers are, but only time will tell.
Well, that's all the time we have in this bulletin. Good night and thanks for watching.